Hi, I'm Megan Hovey, owner and founder of Hovey & Co., a relationship-centered accounting firm here in Kansas City, Missouri. I am here to create a space for all of us to come in and talk technical, nitty-gritty accounting questions, but then also really get deeper and work higher level to work against kind of the personal constraints and limiting beliefs that we have in our business. Today, we're going to talk accounting. We're just going to get right into it. We are going to talk about what accounting solution do I need for where my business is at today. I would say most business owners, especially in the small business market, do not start businesses because they have some MBA or, some complex financial background. They start because they love being a mechanic or they love baking, and they start that business not knowing really anything about maybe the accounting or tax side of it. And for the record, that's normal. It's so funny when clients come in and say, well, it'll be a doctor or an attorney. And they're like, well, I don't know anything about taxes. I'm like, that's everyone. It's like more complicated than Latin. So all of that to say, it's normal if you don't know what the word accounting means or what you need in your business as a solution for that. Here's a couple just markers as we've started and we're growing. Here are things to look out for. If you're doing 0 to a few $100,000 in revenue, you need a good part-time bookkeeper. That's not someone that has the full spectrum of accounting knowledge, but they can get you 90% of the way there with some good categorization and following through on your transactions. As you grow to more of $1 million in revenue, maybe you still have that part-time bookkeeper, or maybe they've grown full-time. You really need a set of true accounting eyes on your financials a couple times throughout the year. That's a good solution there. A little bit of high-level accounting paired with that bookkeeping help. As you grow even further and you're doing, let's say you're getting to a few million in revenue, you've got to start thinking about more like, what's my accounting department going to be? Maybe you look at now hiring a controller who has some compliance and leadership and budgeting skills that's even higher level than like a staff accountant. That can be, difficult to swallow that you need to spend more on your accounting, but it just cracks me up when I see businesses grow and they're now like 8 million in revenue and they're trying to limp along with the one poor accountant that they started with. So just know, if you don't have real-time accurate financial information, you're shooting in the dark. So sometimes, yes, we have to invest a little bit in what's called the cost center, or, those things that don't necessarily drive revenue. We still got to invest in them so that we have a healthy, thriving business that really can scale. So that all sounds fairly easy. Okay, look up my business revenue and then see what accounting solution I need. What's the real problem here? The problem is that we do have an accounting issue, and AI and automation are helping a little bit. But the crisis in accounting since I've been around is that, there's too much demand and not enough supply of good accountants. There just isn't. I'm not kidding when I say that 2 out of 10 clients I meet on the street, just people on the street, are satisfied with their accountants. By and large, most are not. I was on an airplane 2 weeks ago talking to an oral surgeon who had some side businesses. And you could just see the look on his face when he said, yeah, we started to do this, but now we're going to wind it down. And as I asked the questions, it's like there was an accountant that advised him and then disappeared. And that's the call we get into our office every day too. So don't despair. Don't give up hope. I have 2 suggestions to make. Number 1, consider an outsourced solution. So there are firms and there are groups like our own that are out there to offer a fixed fee service to get your accounting done. That can be really helpful because you, number 1, know what you're going to pay so you can budget for it. Number 2, when it feels a little expensive, let's say you're doing 400,000 in revenue and they, have a price of $600 a month or $1,000 a month. When you commit to anything in business, it feels scary. But the trick is then think about the alternative. If you had to hire someone into your business full time, what is that going to cost with taxes, with benefits, with the burden and liability of making sure that they show up and get the work done? So consider an outsource option. I would push for someone that doesn't deal in terms, so they don't lock you into 6 months or 12 months. That almost feels unconscionable to me, and we don't do that. We say 30-day notice because, it's a roller coaster being in small business. We're already locked into leases and things like that. So just try to find someone that will give you a fixed fee that doesn't necessarily deal in terms. And then, watch what happens, because once your accounting and your finances are done and they're done in real time, it's amazing how empowered you will feel. My second piece of advice is don't give up. So we need to level up the accounting industry. A lot of times we find a CPA or an accountant is helping a client because, well, they just always helped our family and they don't even necessarily have current knowledge. They're not getting things filed on time, but it's like, well, it's who I've always used. Push past that, interview. And if you don't get a good sense or you don't have any good reference for that individual, keep pushing until you find someone that you click with and what they're saying makes sense to you. I've had so many clients say, I don't feel judged and I actually learned something from you. And, it's such a relief to talk to you because I learned something, but I don't feel stupid. Push through until you find an accountant like that. Your business, there's a lot of things that we can limp along not getting right in business, but you have to know the basics like, am I making money? Will I have a tax liability? Those are things that are crucial if you really want to scale this business. All right, at the end of the day, I want you to be able to get through the grind and find fulfillment on the other side. I promise you can do it. It is worth it. And that's what this community is for, is to feel a little less lonely, a little less confused, a little less scared. So join, hit subscribe, send me your questions, send me your thoughts. They could be content for the next video. This is my mission, is for you to see your business dream become a reality. Thanks for joining today.